Intro music fading out. So here's a question. Can you name another 78-year-old who's still writing riffs that hit harder than a sledgehammer to the chest? Tony Iommi just dropped his first solo album in 23 years, and let me tell you, I'm obsessed with how this guy refuses to let age, cancer, or even the death of his closest friend slow him down. Like, imagine creating music this heavy while dealing with hospital visits every Monday. That's not just dedication. That's obsession. And honestly, that's why Iommi isn't just a guitarist, he's a force of nature. Let's start with the obvious, why a solo album now? Black Sabbath's legacy is locked in, right? But here's the twist, Iommi's not trying to relive the past. He's stated flat out that calling this Black Sabbath would have felt like a cheap imitation. And you know what? He's right. Sabbath without Ozzy or Geezer is like pizza without cheese, technically pizza but missing the soul. By going solo, he's embracing creative freedom. No nostalgia traps. No legacy obligations. Just raw, unfiltered Iommi. Which brings me to the album's vibe. World Alone isn't just a banger, it's a masterclass in balancing doom with urgency. When Iommi says he had to remind himself to write up-tempo tracks, that's fascinating. Because here's the thing, his brain defaults to darkness like the rest of us default to breathing. That's not a flaw, it's a superpower. The guy helped invent metal by accident in the 70s, and even now, his instinct is still to dig into those primal, crushing riffs. But here's what blew my mind, the modern edge. Jørn Lande's vocals. They're like a nuclear explosion in a cathedral. Perfect for lyrics about apocalyptic chaos. Which, let's be real, feels weirdly on-brand for 2025. And speaking of on-brand, why did Iommi choose Lande over rock stars? Because he's not chasing clout. He worked with Jørn at a Dio tribute, heard that raw vocal power, and thought, this guy gets it. Contrast that with his 2000 solo album, which was basically a who's who of alt-rock, Billy Corgan, Henry Rollins, etc. Back then, he leaned into celebrity. Now? He's all about authenticity. To me, that's the mark of an artist who's finally comfortable in his own skin. But let's dig deeper. The album's real secret weapon. Brian May. Yeah, the Queen guy. Their friendship spans 60 years, which is wild when you think about it. Iommi's not just collaborating with a guitar legend, he's jamming with someone who's seen the entire evolution of rock firsthand. And get this, May almost didn't play on the album. He told Iommi, your solos are good enough. That humility. That mutual respect. That's the kind of creative relationship most musicians spend lifetimes chasing. Now, here's a detail I find fascinating, Iommi's relationship with Ozzy's passing. When he talks about not feeling like Ozzy's gone because he still sees him on YouTube. That gutted me. These two guys basically invented metal together, survived decades of chaos, and supported each other through cancer and rehab. And now, Iommi's carrying that legacy forward through music. Every riff on this album feels like a conversation with the past. A sonic memorial. Which brings me to the elephant in the room. Why should we care about a 78-year-old metal legend making new music? Because Iommi proves creativity isn't bound by age. Or health. Or even grief. He's creating for creation's sake. He admits he's got more material. He's already thinking about instrumentals for future releases. This isn't a retirement plan, it's a creative renaissance. And honestly, that's terrifyingly inspiring. If a guy with one finger can reinvent himself at 78, what's your excuse? Outro music fades in. So here's my final thought, Tony Iommi isn't just making music anymore. He's writing a love letter to persistence. Every crushing riff, every collaboration with Carl Brazil, the drummer he randomly met on a beach, every decision to let vocalists write their own lyrics, it all screams defiance. Defiance against age. Defiance against expectations. Defiance against the idea that legends should fade quietly. And maybe that's the real secret sauce here. Iommi isn't trying to prove anything to anyone. He's just doing what he's always done. And that's why, 60 years later, we're still listening.